Trickling water? What you just heard was the murmur of a healing melody. The water flowing within us is also a part of nature. And when you feel that harmony between your body and Mother Nature, you will gradually heal through this new podcast episode. And now, let's start episode 1 of this podcast with, why is that so? Why do so many people tend to put others down, to undermine them? In a group of friends or colleagues, you'll find individuals who constantly point out others' flaws, or even worse, find fault and disparage them. Why do these people have such a habit? Here, we'll delve into an interesting concept called sophistry, a habit of always assuming someone or something is wrong. The word ngai, pseudo, false, derived from Chinese, is used in Vietnamese to refer to things that are fake or deceptive. Thuc, knowledge, comes from tri-thuc, intellect. So, sophistry, or pseudo-intellect, can describe people who feign understanding, elevate themselves, and devalue those around them. The very act of putting someone down, dim hang, inherently contains the roots of sophistry, because to put someone down is to pull them down, and indirectly, to lift oneself up. If I say, "You've been late a lot lately, haven't you?" that's an indirect way of letting you know who is consistently on time. Or if I remark, "That team has been slacking off recently," my underlying message is that my marketing department is working diligently and meticulously. The subtle genius of sophistry is that I don't need any words or effort to praise myself. I just need to point out your flaws or shortcomings, and you're intelligent enough to figure out the rest. Why do people do this? The book, Luet Din Then, by author Phuong Viet, offers this answer. Sophistry arises because the sophist lacks something. But what exactly do they lack? They lack self-worth and self-confidence. So, they resort to harvesting that validation and confidence from others by putting someone down or mocking something. Waking up in the morning, the ego beast within them stirs. It rages, seeking nourishment, it's hungry, and it drives them out. The moment they meet the first person, it urges them to blurt out immediately. "What were you thinking, buying a dress like that, ma'am?" Or, "Your tummy's gotten pretty big lately, hasn't it?" Sophistry destroys relationships and entire teams, especially in corporate environments. Internal conflicts, a lack of transparency in company culture, and colleagues becoming wary and closed off all stem from sophistry. However, some might argue that these sophistic remarks could simply be constructive feedback, meant to help the other person learn and improve. What then? So how can we distinguish between sophistry and sincere, constructive feedback? The answer offered by author Phuong Viet in Luet Din Then is to look at the motivation behind the action. What is the motivation behind sophistry? It's to diminish one person and elevate another, whereas the purpose of genuine feedback is purely to uplift. To uplift whom? The other person, the team, us. Because the motivations differ, the approaches will also differ. The nature of sophistry is often concealed under noble intentions, but in reality, it's about self-aggrandizement. Thus, the tone and attitude are usually accompanied by condescending, harsh criticism, and judgment. Sincere feedback, however, aims to help others improve, so gentleness, friendliness, and sincerity will be paramount. For this very reason, sophistry often thrives in public display. The more people present, the more it sparkles. In contrast, genuine feedback is usually delivered in private, gently and thoughtfully. So how do we deal with these sophists? In Japan, there's a martial art called Judo. Nhu means gentle, flexible, conscious, and respectful. Dao here means path, method, way, or philosophy. Combining these two words gives us an agile path, which is also the essence of Judo. The principle of Judo is minimum effort, maximum efficiency. Specifically, you use your opponent's energy against them. This means when they charge at you, you don't try to block them. Instead, you sidestep and pull them in the direction they're already moving, rendering them powerless against you. You don't want to hurt your opponent, but you also want to escape their punch. This is called softness controlling hardness, or using weakness to defeat strength. Judo involves both defense and offense, and the philosophical lesson from Judo is precisely how we can deal with sophists. Faced with their taunts and sarcasm, you can adopt a new approach, responding with more subtlety and depth. Instead of getting angry or furious when someone puts you down or criticizes you harshly, why not respond more cleverly, elevating your own worth while leaving your opponent speechless? When someone sarcastically remarks, "That doesn't look good on you at all, sis," you could respond, "Oh, that's why men's eyes seem to want to rip it right off me." Have you gained weight recently, sis? No, I'm actually slim. I used to be even smaller than you are now. So, how much do you weigh now, sis? 50 kilograms, if you include the mental burden of having to talk to you. For those who like to lecture and tell you what to do, there's no need to get angry or argue with them. Just a few sarcastic remarks can shut them up instantly. However, not everyone has the ability to deliver such sharp retorts. Therefore, the way almost all of us can deal with sophists is simply to ignore them. Because when someone provokes you, if you react with excessive anger, loud voices, confusion, or embarrassment, what have you proven? At that moment, your reactions prove that the sophists have succeeded. They'll just keep doing it again next time. Think about it. If you criticize someone 3 or 4 times and they just maintain a neutral expression, would you still want to keep putting them down? A shrug of contempt, or simply refusing to engage in conflict, can make sophists feel defeated and shame them into retreating. If you feel uncomfortable, simply stand up frankly and excuse yourself. The saying, "Absence makes the heart grow fonder," might seem fitting here. Creating distance can make you realize that true friendship is about mutual support, not about tearing others down. It's best to create a healthy distance from such people. We can avoid contact with them for a short period, or if we must meet them, limit conversations to prevent major conflicts. These preventative measures can help us maintain our mental well-being and live more comfortably. In Judo, there's also an important motto: mutual aid and progress together. This implies that we shouldn't just focus on improving our individual abilities, but also support, help, and respect others. A truly strong person is not someone who steps on others' shoulders to satisfy their own ego. A strong person is one who helps others, using their own shoulders. A society, a community, a group will thrive and make great strides if each individual within it respects, unites, and supports one another. In this world, there are 3 types of matters: your own matters, others' matters, and God's matters. We often worry because we forget our own matters, meddle in others' matters, and fret about God's matters. If you want to be happy, it's very simple. Just do your own work well, don't interfere with others' business, and don't worry about God's plans. Just live your own life joyfully. If you haven't even helped others, why envy them or put them down? Only to bring more worries and headaches upon yourself, right?